Welcome to another episode of Chad Sports Talk. My name's Chad. Take a dive with sports. And the NHL weekend has already passed. Now we're on to the second half of the season. Now it's time to kind of give the first half and give all the NHL teams report cards. That's right. They've completed their midterms. It's time to see if they're passing or failing their particular this season. And a lot of teams are struggling early. I think we'll make a rebound in the second half, and those in the second half that are doing good in the first half will probably come crashing down to earth in the second half. Always happens with long seasons like these. But before I dive into all that, if you could just go ahead, smash that thumbs up for me, give me a like, especially like the content I provide you. It really pleases you two gods, help me promote this channel. You also subscribe. I check my analytics. I love you guys review my work, and I love you all for doing so. But it doesn't cost, you can subscribe, doesn't cost you a dime, and helps me provide more content and entertainment for you. Now, looking at, giving these teams a particular grade, some of them probably graded a little bit higher because certain aspects can't meet because they're not playing games because of protocol issues. So a lot of things kind of playing in that one. Also some news for other teams that kind of pop out in this one. And I'll go ahead and just kind of go with, I'm going to start off right away and give 4 teams an F right off the gate. A couple of them I think might be a borderline, not failing, but still a bad team. It's going to be Montreal, Arizona, Seattle, and Buffalo. Montreal just fired their head coach. They're having one of the most disappointing seasons ever in their history. They've only got 8 wins so far. They can't do anything correct. It's almost a very bad season. Or 79 point differential. They can't seem to stop anyone. They might as well not put a goalie in there and just go with 6 attackers. It's usually about the same. So next is Arizona. This franchise is just a whole heap of a mess. They blame personal issues for not being able to pay their taxes on time. Personal issues for not paying player bonuses last season. They don't seem to have anything. I mean, they did a great game right before the break where they went into Denver and beat Colorado, which was a huge shocker. Kessel's the only highlight of this franchise, and he is a long-time NHLer, true vet of the game, so he doesn't have very many years left, and we all know they're going to be kicked out of their Hill River Arena at the end of the season, and they have no home. They're still trying to get the plans in Tempe up and running, so now I got to try for a temporary home in the Phoenix area, or maybe somewhere in the state of Arizona. And none of the arenas out there are viable. Suns owners already said they're not playing in their arena again. When the team originally moved out to Phoenix area from Winnipeg, they joined with the Suns in downtown Phoenix. Now very conducive for hockey, and that's why the Coyotes were always looking for a new arena. And it just never transpired until they got the one out in Glendale, and enough a little history lesson there. But right now they're trying to work out a deal with Arizona State to share their facility, which is a extremely low capacity arena. This is like arena you expect for college hockey, so the professional hockey league. I mean, this is just so low that it's far below NHL standards. The player association is not happy about it. Some of the owners are not happy about it. Nothing's been signed yet, mind you. But Bettman has stated that he wants to keep the franchise in Arizona. It's been obvious since the franchise went bankrupt and the NHL took over that they don't want to pull out. And you gotta see why, because the chance of getting talent out there. Where do you think Austin Matthews came from? He's from Scottsdale, Arizona. If it wasn't for the Arizona Coyotes, he would probably never play hockey. Just kind of throw that little tad bit out there. Okay, so 1-star player doesn't mean keep a struggling franchise in an area that doesn't seem to perform well. But as of right now, the Coyotes are definitely enough. Me personally, I think the team needs to move out of the Phoenix metro area completely, start fresh. That's just my opinion, but yeah. Next up is Seattle. The only reason why they're in this one, expansion team, haven't really quite hit their stride yet. I think everyone was some people wanted them to repeat Vegas's a magical run they had. That's the once in a lifetime, I think, thing from Vegas. They started the gate running right from the get-go. They had the right mindset going in when they made the expansion draft. They made their particular trades and their coaching staff and all that. The way Seattle's built, they built more in defense first, and then they're going to expand later in other areas to kind of get the whole team going. But you got, defend first, and then you can start worrying about the scoring. I think Seattle will do very well, probably about year 2 or 3. But right now, there's an F. It's a questionable F. Let's put it that way. And Buffalo is the last one. It's just one of these franchises are just kind of struggling to move along. But I'm sure there are going to be a lot of things in the works for them. Right now, only 14 wins this season, so we'll kind of see how they move forward. The Eckel shadow that they no longer have looming over them, so I think things should be looking on the way up for them. It's just a matter of trying to find the right pieces. Now the D's, these guys are not that bad. Most of them, some of them are still in the middle of rebuilds, and we'll just kind of wait and see. And that's going to be Ottawa, New Jersey, Philly, the Islanders, and the Blackhawks. For Ottawa and New Jersey, they're both in rebuilds, so they're trying to get their franchises moving in the right direction. So I think things will look up for them in the next couple of years. They'll be kind of like right there with Seattle. So there's that one. Philadelphia, I think this is disappointing for them as well as for the Islanders. Both these franchises, I think, should be a lot higher than what they are, especially the Islanders. They had that magical run last year in the playoffs, and now they're sitting here at the bottom of the league, and not someplace they want to be at. Philadelphia, and I said in my preview videos, one of these teams is really hard to kind of pinpoint exactly how to label this this team, who is going to be performing this year in the ice. They have a lot of pieces that show this should be one direction, but things could play out where they're in the opposite end. That right now they're playing out on the opposite end, and it could be a lot of pieces being moved out of there, which could hurt them possibly in the future, but you never know. And then Chicago, with them, it's like a D plus. I think they're could be moving in the right direction, but once again, it's that defense that's really, really hampering things. You're putting a lot of pressure on Fleury. He's gonna have those bad days. It's just like anyone else. But the fact that Kane and Taves are not really the focal point of this franchise is more now the Brinket. So they're, Chicago's starting to move away from the older guys, trying to find the younger talent to move along. They just need to find the younger talent behind, in the net. So, but right now, letting 41 go, losing the goal differential by 41. You got a lot of work on defense. The Jones brothers should have been probably a little bit more advantageous in Chicago than they have been, but I think time will tell, and I think towards the end of the season, you'll start seeing them probably picking back up. But right now, they're a D. Now, the C's, these guys are pretty decent. Most of them are vying for those bottom positions of the playoffs. So, they have a lot of swing. Momentum that can take them further up the ladder, or they can find themselves out. So, but that goes with Columbus, Winnipeg, San Jose, Vancouver, Detroit, and Edmonton. Now for Columbus, when you have an all-star talent like Laine on that team, he's going to get a lot of attention. So it's up for other players to really step up and kind of take a stand of where they're going to go. So, overall, they're not doing too bad, even though they're giving up 22 points more. But, with 21 wins, 43 points overall, they're actually, halfway decent. I think there's a few pieces here and there, and they should be really, really good. And for Winnipeg, they're finding ways to become very relevant, and especially in the crowded Central Division. But unfortunately, they're kind of down the bottom end, and I think they're just on the cusp of making a decent run. Now, the Sharks, since they were able to jettison Evander Kane and try to relay with themselves, they were surprised early in the season. But I think that surprise was kind of caught up with them a little bit, and some people found a way to repel the Sharks. But they're still a very dangerous team. It seems like the Western playoffs always seems to run through San Jose as well as Denver. But, it's just one of these teams that we'll look out for. Vancouver. This is definitely a team that you kind of... they were on the cusp of making the playoffs last year. They didn't have to take on Montreal so many damn times. But, without that, Montreal headache... But just haven't quite found that niche yet to really get that next level. But a very tenacious team. They'll take it to you physically and with speed. So these are one definite things you got to look out for. And they're only the goal differential. They're on down by 10. So this is definitely a team you really have to watch out for. Moving on towards the end of the season, they could find themselves possibly getting into the playoffs and maybe upsetting a team or two. Detroit's in the middle of still in the rebuild, but I think that the talent is starting to really surface up to the top for the Red Wings to get them back into that playoff format once again. The fans have been patient, and they know the process. They know it's going to take a little while to get that contender back in Detroit, back in the hockey town, in Motown. But they're doing extremely well. You pretty much could say they're like 500 hockey. Going to look at it that way, but still got to work on the defense a bit. Coughing up 29 goals more will hamper you to getting some good wins. But things are looking good for fans of Detroit, unfortunately. At Edmonton, a disappointment thus far for them, especially when you have McDavid and Draisaitl as your 1-2 punch. Duncan Keith, the old vet, right there in defense, and you bring in Evander Kane, a little of a enforcer, a little bit of a troublemaker, and they haven't quite manifest themselves just yet. But he's one of these teams you definitely got to watch out for because they will take it to you, and this is one of the things you really have to watch out for. Now, the B teams, these guys have a lot of talent on all of them, and they're doing very well, kind of like the mid-card range in terms of the NHL. So it includes, Austin, LA, Anaheim, St. Louis, Vegas, Minnesota, Washington, and Nashville. Look at these teams. For Dallas, they have the talent, and they're doing extremely well right now. They're only -1 in the goal differential. They're doing, slightly better than Edmonton, so they're like a B minus because they could definitely fall out if it comes to that. But they have the talent right there in the team, so they got they got things going in the right direction. In terms of Calgary, this is definitely a team you got to watch out for. Very fast, very tenacious. Definitely make some headway. For Boston, they just took a major hit. Tuukka Rask has officially retired. He had a hip surgery in the offseason. Tried to get some rest, come back, see if he would come back. But I guess he did great the first game, but then he wasn't so great. Later on, they ended up being the backup to Allmark. And he's like, I think just the grind of an NHL season, he realized that there's no way that his surgery will and the abilities of what the goalie had to do for the Bruins. He decided that, just play it safe, and he's going to just retire after 15 years. He's already got the Stanley Cup. His comeback was the reason why I picked Boston to win the Cup. So there goes my chances of picking the winner at the start of the season. But Boston's still a talented team regardless. Even without Tuukka Rask, Char's already, he's out, he's gone. Marchand's found himself in another 6-game suspension for his antics. But they still have a lot of talent in that team, and they will definitely make a good playoff run. It's just, they've done a decent job without Tuukka Rask already, and I think they're going to find themselves as a mid-tier team heading to the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. The Kings have been a surprise. Dark horse pick for a lot of experts in the preseason to make the playoffs. They're definitely moving in the right direction. They're +6 right now in the goal differential with the 24 wins. So they're moving in the right direction. It's just a matter of time for them to really find their niche and really take it to the rest of the Western Conference. The Ducks, team that I think no one saw coming, and they're just doing everything right there. Same thing along the lines with the Kings. So you have these two LA teams that are really going very well, and trying to see if bring the Cup back out to SoCal. In St. Louis, very, very well coached team. Still got the talent everywhere. Binnington, still a goaltender. Still got Tarasenko, who's kind of stepped back as the focal point of this team. But they found themselves in a very good position right there in the crowded Central Division, talented West. So they can make another decent deep run. Vegas still got everything in place. Liners now their primary goaltender. And they're doing what they have to do to maintain their position out there in the Pacific Division. There's not as dominant as they once were probably a couple years ago, but still a team you got to watch out for. Minnesota and Nashville both are two very good teams out there in Central. Really, kind of taking that along with St. Louis. Those are like the big three right now in the Central. Just doing what they have to do. Minnesota is just a very talented organization. Smashville, living up to their name, and then just taking to everyone. And you got the Capitals. I think right now it's kind of like that B+ range. And with when you have Ovechkin on your team, you're gonna be good. Right now they're +21 in terms of goal, the point differential, so they're definitely looking at that. They got to clean some things up, kind of get out of their little funk and a little end recently, but it's definitely different. Another team that can make another dangerous run to try to win a second cup. Now your A teams, these guys probably no shock that these teams are up here. Well, maybe one, but that's in case you keep track. Maple Leafs, Rangers, Penguins, Hurricanes, Lightning, Avalanche, and Panthers. Now with the Leafs, when you have Tavares and Austin Matthews as your 1-2 punch, definitely is one you have to watch out for. And they're doing extremely well in terms of scoring. With the 30 wins, they're +42 goal differential. So just see if they could take that talent in the postseason, which tends to be the Leafs' Achilles heel. The Rangers, a little bit of a surprise being up this high, but doing extremely well. Panarin, very talented as goal scorer, but he's not really a focal point too much of this franchise, so it makes it very easy. +23 with 30 wins, but I think the Rangers might find themselves start slipping back slightly. I'm thinking, but they'll still be a very dangerous team in the postseason. Penguins, the talent, it should be no surprise. They're sitting at the top of the league. Carolina, another one, been outstanding the past couple of years. They're still continuing that trend. And they embrace their Whalers heritage, because every time they tend to wear the green Whalers uniform, they win games. So maybe they change the name to Carolina Whalers and go from there. Tampa Bay, 2-time Stanley Cup champion, back-to-back Stanley Cup champion, still sitting on top of the league. There's too much talent in this franchise to really not overlook them. 3 in a row, that's difficult, and I don't think it's going to happen, but they definitely will make some things interesting in the postseason. Colorado, all that talent they got, that franchise. McKinnon, a little bit out. He should be coming back here shortly. But this is one of these scary, scary teams. I mean, they only have 8 regular season losses. I mean, technically 12 losses overall with the 4 OTLs. The fewest of any NHL franchise right now, and they are definitely a scary, scary bunch. The plus 54 in the goal differential. I mean, they're 9-0-1 in the last 10, and it's just, they're a scary team to look out for. And speaking of scary teams, the Panthers. That's right, the Panthers. It's in the top of the league. This is the A+ of the league right now, and they are just phenomenal. They are tenacious at home. You try to go down there in Sunrise, Florida to take it to the Panthers, and they will devour you. They're 23-3 at home. The best of any team in the NHL right now defending home ice. So looking at the Panthers, it's just one of these teams that everything's pointing towards them right now. They are built correctly. There were rumors in the past of them possibly moving, but now they're winning. They're drawing the fans, so I don't think they're going to go anywhere. And with a plus 55, they are just on point right now to be a threat in this postseason. And we'll just go ahead and take a gander at the playoff standings way too early. I mean, why not? I mean, that's part of the whole process here. As we look in the Atlantic Division, your top 3, of course, is Florida, Tampa Bay, Toronto. I think no shock there. And for the Met, it's Carolina, the Rangers, and Penguins. I think no shock there. Your top 2 wild cards are Washington and Boston. With Washington taking on Carolina that first round, that means the Bruins will have to get Florida right at the gate. And out west, your top 3 for the Western, for the Central is Colorado, Nashville, Minnesota. For the Pacific is Vegas, LA, Anaheim. And your top 2 wild cards, St. Louis and Colorado. With St. Louis going to Vegas first, and then Calgary visiting Colorado. But, that's just the midseason report card for the NHL. So we'll kind of see how things go on from there. There's a lot of teams I think will still finish off strong towards the end of the season. There's going to be no change in that aspect. I think teams like the Islanders, Edmonton, probably should make a good push later on. They got to get things going, and we'll just see how things play out. And as always, leave your comments down below what you think so far this NHL season. Do you think your team's going to make it? Who is your team going to win the Cup? So I picked Boston at the beginning of the season, and it looks like that choice is going to end up biting me. But of course, but hey, just let me know down below. Are you there? Once again, you hit that thumbs up for me. Really helps me out. You can also subscribe. Once you subscribe, you hit that bell notification. Let you know next time I post a video, and I will see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.